Hello everyone. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while on this channel. There's a lot of reasons why. One of the reasons, and it's not the main reason, but my GoPro housing latch was broken for a long time. And I finally thought, why don't I just email GoPro and see, what they say? Because everywhere I look on the internet, I can't find an actual GoPro brand housing latch. I can find like off-brand ones. I don't know if they'd work or not. So I emailed them and asked them, I see on your website nowhere that I can buy this alone, and they're just like, well, do this, that, and that, and we'll send you a new one. And so they sent me a new GoPro housing latch, and that's, a cool thing they did. And the reason I haven't filmed with any other cameras is because I don't really have any other cameras. I have my camera on my phone, but I don't want to film with my phone. It's a lot harder, and I know I could film with the GoPro holding it, but I have it in a little tripod, and it just makes it a lot easier, and that's one reason I haven't made a video in a while on this channel. But again, that's not the only reason. But anyways, I mean, that's kind of off topic. Anyways, I'm sorry I haven't made a video on this channel in a while. But what I want to make this video about is this giant ass RC car that I have. If you look right here, you can see that this is a newer Camaro. I don't know what year this Camaro would be in real life. I'm not really into Camaros. I have nothing against them. I'm not really up to date on these Camaros. I think they would be like 06 through 10, if not even more. I don't know. But anyways, this is a 1/6 scale, I think. This is I'm just going to refer to it as a 6th scale RC car. But this is not a hobby grade RC car if you're not familiar with these. If you are, then you know what I'm talking about. This is more of like a Toys R Us or a Walmart RC car that is really slow, and it is still really slow, but I made it a little bit faster. And what I want to make this video about is what I've done to make it a little bit faster and steer with an actual hobby grade servo and stuff like that. And I'm making this video like really quick. Like, I didn't go and look and find all the parts that I took out of this thing, so I might be able to find them as I make the video. I don't know. But basically what I did is, my friend gave this car to me. First of all, he was moving, and he's had this car sitting in his garage on a shelf. It's just sat there. We've played with it like one time, and it's just sat there. Because, again, this thing's slow as heck. You could, like, crawl faster than this thing can go, straight from the store. Like, when you buy it, throw a battery in it, thing's so slow. Wow. I don't even know how to explain how slow this is if you don't already know. But he gave me this car, and as well, he gave me a truck with it, and it's a little bit smaller of a scale truck. It's still a big truck. The body of the truck's over here, not that thing. You guys probably seen that. That's my SCX-10. But that Toyota Tacoma body came off of another truck he had gave me. And so what I did with that truck is I took the motor out of it. It's a 550 can and put it in here. There was a 540 can that was in here. A 540 can is also what would go in something like that SCX-10, that silver truck. I have an HPI EN1 speed control, and then I have a Traxxas 2019 receiver, and the transmitter's on the floor right there. I'll show you that in a minute. And then right here I have a servo that I took out of my RC boat that I have, because it has 2 servos in it, but I eliminated it from working with 2 to just using 1 servo, and I put the other servo right there. And so that's basically what I did. And you might be like, well, that wasn't very hard. And it really wasn't. Like, putting the motor, I had to take the whole transmission and stuff apart to get the motor out, and to also get the little pinion gear off of the stock motor, and then put it on this one. And then this, I just strapped it down, hooked it to the motor. I made this. I'll show you this in a minute. And then this is just screwed down to here, and then the steering servo. And I'm going to take some of this apart. Do I want to take it apart? I don't know. I'm not going to take it apart because I don't need to, and I'm afraid to break some of the plastic, because I've cracked some of the plastic on this thing making it. I still need to adjust some stuff, but again, I'm making this video really fast, so as of right now, I don't know what I would do to it if I wanted to adjust it right now. I'd have to really think about it. But I'm going to try and explain what I did to the steering. And if you guys really want me to, maybe in another video, I will take it apart and show you how I did this, in case you have one of these and you want to do this to it. But basically, what I did is I took the whole steering apart in the front, took it all off, and what I did is this right here, this big plastic piece, originally, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was flipped over. I don't know if it's flipped over or not, but it does go down inside of here. It runs along down in here, and then there's another one like this that would go above here. And then these right here, these two things, would go here and here. You can see the holes, original holes right there. They would go there. You know what? I'm probably just going to take this apart. It'd make it a lot easier for me to show you how I did this, and it would make more sense. Whoa! Almost threw my GoPro on my hand. That was great. Let me go ahead and just. I guess yes. I don't know. It shouldn't be that hard. So I'll start with taking this out. I'll again explain exactly what this thing is doing and stuff, or where it went. But what this is doing now, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. You can see this spring right here. That is pretty much the suspension. And so now the whole wheel should be loose. Yeah, you can see how that's moving now? See, this spring would go over this, and then this thing would go like this. And if you see the hole where the original hole is there, that would go right over that spring, and then I screw it down. And that's what's holding the wheel on. And so I'll take that off, and now let me take the other side off. See, now the whole steering is pretty much taken apart. I need to actually get under here and unscrew this. And as I go to put it back together, I'll explain what I'm doing. I just hope I don't break this thing, because this is like custom. Very customized. It's not the greatest, but it works. Okay. So now the whole steering should come apart. Okay. So I'll just leave it like this. As you can see, I have put a servo here. Where I have screwed this servo in, originally there was a servo that went here, and again, this is in a hobby grade car, so it wasn't just a small little servo like this. It was this huge contraption, and I don't have it with me, but it's like this huge thing. It's hard to explain. But it went in this area, and when I took it out, it left these posts where I screwed this servo in, and it fit perfectly in there. So if I was to unscrew these two screws, the servo would slide right out. So I mounted that in there, and I maybe didn't do it in the order that I'm telling you. I may have did one thing and then been like, okay, so I did that, now I gotta do this, now I gotta do that. So I might not be in the same order that I'm explaining this, but I mounted the servo here, the servo horns on there. This plastic steering arm, if you will, came off of this is stock steering thingy-mabop off of an SEX10. This thing here, if I remember right, came with some suspension I have. It's just like a sleeve. It's just a piece of aluminum with a hole in it. And I stuck a screw with a washer down through there. And the reason I did that is because I could not find a screw that would fit properly. I could only find this long screw. So to eliminate the screw from going all the way down and rubbing on stuff, I had to put this sleeve there. So that you might not have to do if you were to try and do what I'm doing here. And then these wheels. This wheel on this side, this wheel right here, originally was on this side. But the reason I had to flip them around is because of the way these things go inside of here. You probably can't tell on camera, I don't know, but these things are tapered. and these holes are tapered. So if I was to stick this thing through the hole the wrong way, it kind of gets tight. So I had to use it this way to where it will sit down in there, but it won't get tight. So I guess now I can kind of put this back together and show you what I did. But first I'll explain. This thing, again, if I'm not mistaken, since the wheels are flipped around backwards, this thing, these posts were facing up. And this thing right here would go back and forth down in here and not up here like it is now. So I took it apart from there, flipped the wheels around. Gotta get the spring out of here. So basically, if you just take this whole thing apart, you'll have these pins sticking up, and you just want to stick the wheel on it. And you want this hole, the bigger hole, to be facing to the back. And you gotta cut some stuff off or it'll be in your way. But you basically just stick this in there and then that one in there. But as you can see, the chassis just slides up and down right now. And also, when I would put it together just like this and leave this thing just loosely sitting in here, when you would turn, it would kind of like raise up one side. It was just like moving like this. So I took these screws. As you can see, it's a regular screw. I wouldn't even say a quarter of the way, like, I don't know, we'll just say a quarter of the way there. And then the rest is just that's just a shaft, a smooth shaft. And so what I do with this is that, I don't know if I'll be able to show you properly, but I stick it up through here. I don't know if you can see this. I stick it up through there, and then it comes out up here. See? And with the threads on the one end, I take the drill and I just get rid of that, and you just drill it until it gets a little tight. And so there. Now this cross thingy won't come out. I don't know what to refer to this stuff because it's just custom and it's plastic. I don't know. But let me put this other screw through the other thingy, other end of the thingy. Okay, are you grabbing? No, it's not. Okay. It's not, I didn't even really tighten it all the way. Okay, so to these things here, basically what these were for, if you can see in here, you can see there's a screw hole there and there's one back here. And this thing that I'm talking about right here, this long plastic thingy, the steering rack, I'll just call it, originally was flipped over and would move back and forth down inside of here. And these would keep it in its spot, like that. But what I did is I took these, and when you raise this up, you take a spring, you put a spring on there. See, put a spring on there. These are the screws that I just put in, not this part. And then I gotta make sure I'm using the right side. Is it this side? Yeah. Let me use something to prop this up. And then I'll take this, and since it already has a hole there, I stick it over the spring, and it fits, the spring fits perfectly in here. And then you can see I marked it, and I drilled a hole in this plastic thing to stick a screw through it. So now I'll take this drill and lightly screw this in. See, it's getting tight. I don't want to force that. I think it's fine there anyways. It's actually, if I screw it anymore, it's going to torque it down. So I'll just leave it like that. And now you can see this, how the suspension works. So now let me put the spring on this side, and then put this like that. Screw this side down. Ooh. So you can hear that plastic cracking. And that plastic cracking is these things here. It's basically the chassis. It's just, I don't know, it's really cheap plastic. It didn't seem to break it, but every time I was screwing anything on this thing, I was hearing cracking noises. And as you can see, let me put it down. You can see how flimsy this thing is. I mean, if I was to make this thing much faster, like put a VXL motor in it, a brushless motor, I would have to stiffen the chassis for one, and two, I would need actual rubber tires, because these tires are plastic, hard plastic. So this thing just spins. Plus, it's not posi or lock diff or anything like that. It just one wheel spins at a time. One idea for making this a stiffer chassis, since there's all this stuff here, is to maybe get a piece of sheet of aluminum and have it cut out the same shape as this, and have like a belly pan on here. Maybe. I mean, that's just an idea. Once it's done, it might not work. I don't know. Again, it's just an idea. And then this, I'm going to end up changing this to a Tamiya plug. Right now I have a Dean's plug on here. And what I used, if you can see in there, I don't know what they're called. But I don't know. This is just ghetto rigged. I need to put a Tamiya connector on there. And I have a Tamiya connector from the stock speed control and all that stuff that operated this thing from factory. It had a Tamiya plug on it that I took off of it. You should see, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere over the rainbow. No, but the speed control thing was huge. It was like this big. It was like this giant circuit board, and I don't know, so ugly and non-practical. I don't know, it was just really weird. But now it will actually run. And again, this thing is extremely slow. So don't laugh at it, please. Let me and the thing that sucks about taking the body on and off is you got to unscrew like 8 screws just to take the body on and off. You can see the steering work. One of the things I gotta fix is this right in here. I either gotta cut this thing off, which I don't want to do, because if I have to change the way the steering works, I want to use this big surface area of plastic, like maybe drill a hole in it and use something off of it to steer it. So I don't want to cut that off, but if you can see these black things sticking up where they held something on originally, you can see it kind of clears that side but moves it, and then this side you can see it's running into it. So I either got to cut these things off or cut this off or shave it, like cut it, and just, I don't know, I got to do something to it. Well, you can see how the steering works. And now I'll drag it real quick. The battery's pretty much dead in this thing, but it's slow either way. Make sure the battery doesn't fall off. All it does is spin the tires and it doesn't go nowhere. That's why, like I said, it needs actual rubber tires. These tires are too hard of a plastic. It just spins the tires. This tire feels loose. Or the wheel, I should say. You can see how the suspension works back here. These springs here. So when my friend gave me this car originally, I think this is a 20-minute video. When he gave this car to me originally, we couldn't really see up under it inside of here, and we couldn't tell. We didn't think this thing had suspension at all, but it does have a little bit of suspension. This whole piece right here is basically moving, but the whole chassis is even flexing, like I showed you guys a minute ago. The whole chassis flexes, and then the front has a little bit of suspension. I don't know. It's just it's an experiment. Even with a dead battery and like it's set up is, wow, that was hard to say. Like it's set up now, even with a dead battery, it's still faster than it was you know, from the store as a Walmart or Toys R Us RC car. But if you were to put a brushless motor in this thing, like a VXL Valenium, whatever they're called, my friends have had them. I've never had them. Like a 4700 or a 5700 kV, whatever they are, in this thing with some rubber tires, this thing will move pretty quick. I don't think it'd be as fast as a Traxxas X01 or nothing, even though it's close to the same size, but it would still be cool for this thing to go faster. I've only seen one other one on YouTube where it looks just like this. It's the same color. Guy even has the back window out, and he has rubber tires on it and some sort of brushless motor in it, and it moves pretty good, but it's not extremely fast or nothing, but it's quick, don't get me wrong. But I don't know, this thing wasn't really originally built for this, so you just gotta customize it. But it looks cool. I think this thing looks cool. So we'll see. As of right now, this is as far as I've gotten with it. We'll have to see where it goes next. So that's pretty much what this thing's all about. And yeah, so I hope you guys kind of got an understanding of how I did the front steering. It's basically, you know, 100% customized. I did obviously use a lot of this stock steering. I just flipped some of it over, chopped some stuff off, this and that. I luckily had these screws that were smooth, and then they had threads towards the end, and that helped out a lot. Because other than that, I don't know how I would have kept this thing on there like it is. And, you know, a lot of this is just sitting there. You know, these wires are just wrapped around. Again, it's a work in progress. It's also an experiment. I don't know if I'll take it much further. I might sell this thing for like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 bucks to somebody with all of what you see. If they're willing to buy it for that. I don't know if somebody would even be willing to buy it for that. I don't know. Because if you have the motor, you could just throw a VXL in here and then put some stickier rubber tires, and this thing will, I think it will move pretty good. Again, I don't think it would be extremely fast, but it would be quick. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. Let me know what you guys think, and maybe give me some ideas of what I could maybe change that you see here now, or give me ideas on what I could do to it. But again, I don't know if I'm going to keep this thing or not. I don't know. I already have a boat, you know, RC boat I'm trying to get running again. I got my SCX-10, which is the most expensive RC car that I have, and that I try to put any money RC car wise, I try to put it into that thing. Because this hobby is not cheap at all. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video, whenever that is. Or whatever that is. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.